Hey everybody, welcome to this members only video. I want to thank all my members for being my members. You guys are awesome. You're doubly awesome for being a member of my channel. And I'd like to welcome, we have a couple of new members this week, so welcome. Now, one topic that I find really fascinating that I thought maybe you guys might find fascinating too is the subject that banks can create money. Okay, this is quite an interesting concept for me. I studied finance at a master's level, and one of the things within finance is this thing called monetary theory, which basically studies what money is and what value actually is. Okay, we spend our whole lives chasing money, and it helps to have an actual understanding of what it is. Okay, other than just understanding that it's a number in your bank account or it's coins in your hand. Banks have a bit of an unfair advantage that nobody else has but banks. And this kind of explains why pretty much everybody is money hungry. We always have less money than we want, and we're chasing money, whether we're individuals or businesses. We're always strapped for cash. We're always looking for more. It's very, very precious to us. But yet, banks seem to always have an inexhaustible supply of it. They're always throwing loans at people as if they have an infinite amount of money in their checking account. Okay. Now, I learned a long time ago, and this kind of floored me when I learned it. And you may be aware of this, but banks can create money. They are allowed to create money from thin air. Okay. They are given this right by the government. And anyone who isn't a bank is not allowed to do this. Okay. That's why if ever you wondered, there are banks and there's other things like credit unions. Credit unions are not allowed to create money, but banks are. And in order to understand this, we got to understand what exactly is money. Now, you probably have some understanding of this. Money represents value, right? The easiest way to think about it is that money represents goods, products, right? So instead of having food, I have the money to buy food. Instead of having clothes or shelter, I have the money to buy clothes and shelter. Okay, I have the equivalent value in terms of, say, coins or something like that represent value. Now, it's easy to think of money that way, where money represents wealth in the form of products. Okay, but what they've done to money over the last few thousand years is they've abstracted its meaning, its concept many times over, to the point where it's almost impossible to wrap your head around what it actually is. So I'm not going to try and do a complete history of banking or anything, but put it this way. What is money? Well, it represents wealth. Well, what is wealth? Well, wealth is products or services, right? So imagine you have nothing. Okay, you have no products to sell. You have no services to give. Okay, maybe you're untrained and you don't have tools, so you can't really render any services, and you don't have any products to sell. That means you have nothing, right? So that translates to you not having any wealth or any value, which we call capital, right? So that means you have no money. You're not worth anything. But thanks to banks and this weird ability that they have is that you can conjure up a ton of money out of thin air by doing something special. Okay? And that special is making a promise. Okay? And that's what a loan is. That's what a loan is. So the way money actually works is that you might not have any products and you might not have any services, but if you can make a promise that someone believes, you can instantly conjure into existence hundreds of thousands of dollars of wealth just by giving a promise. That's essentially what a mortgage is. They're buying your promise to pay money back to the bank over many, many years. Okay? So because we made a promise and someone believed us, all of a sudden we have a ton of money. We can go to the bank, we can get a loan, an unsecured loan, and they'll give us cash, right? Isn't that strange? it's strange, this concept of just being able to conjure into existence wealth. And you could exchange that money for goods. So all of a sudden now you can afford hundreds of thousands of dollars of products and services. You could buy yourself a house and pay for your food and clothes and all this kind of stuff. And you have contributed nothing other than a promise, right? So monetary theory studies this kind of thing, right? And it brings into question things like, well, what if nobody believes your promise, right? You have every intention of keeping a promise. You promise that you're going to get a job and pay back the bank, money every year that will pay off their loan in a certain number of years. You're good for it, but they don't believe you. Does that mean the wealth doesn't exist? So it goes into things like this, very, very abstract concepts. And the other thing is that what I've noticed over the years is that anyone close to banking that's connected with it, they tend to work in very lucrative jobs. They get a cut of the money that's created. So all you have to do is to walk up to somebody and say, I'll give you a loan. And if they say yes, if you're a bank, you're allowed to just take a bank account that you created and write a number, say $200,000, into that bank account, and that money becomes real. It wasn't given to you. You don't have to have that much money in your bank to begin with. You can have zero money in your bank to begin with. But if someone signs a contract that says they will pay you back over 30 years, this amount of money, then you can instantly conjure that money into existence, just like that. I thought that was an absolutely fascinating concept. Now, if banks are allowed to do this, that can perhaps give a bit of a twist to the rest of us when we work our whole lives to get that equivalent money, right? Our time, our sweat to earn that money, a bank has just conjured it up in a second. It took half an hour's worth of work, a desk, a few papers, and boom, they made $200,000 for themselves, for example. Interesting idea. Good to be a bank. Now, I think monetary theory is fascinating. If this is an interesting concept to you or you'd like to learn more, there are tons of great videos on YouTube. If you want to go even deeper, I suppose you could buy textbooks and things like that and read them. But there's a lot of videos on YouTube. It's a fascinating concept. The more we understand about money and what it is, the more skilled we are at making it. That's kind of my theory, and I'm not the only one that believes that. I hope you found that interesting. If you would like to know more about finance and this kind of thing, if you're interested in this, let me know, because this is kind of related to a topic I cover on my YouTube channel about how to start a business and how to grow a business. I always envisioned that those types of topics would be most interesting to entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs, people that want to have their own business one day and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to grow it. And they don't know how business works. So that's just a little piece of the puzzle. It's hard to spend your whole life chasing this stuff when you don't know what it is. So that's my video. Thank you very much for your attention. You guys are awesome. I do appreciate your support. You're helping to make this wonderful channel happen, and I really appreciate it. And as always, if you have any suggestions, let me know, because I'm all ears. Thank you very much. Have yourselves a great week. I'll see you on the next one.